Greetings. Thanks for joining us for this broadcast. Yeah, yeah. So this is Apocalypse Now. That's a great August timeline shift. Get ready. I don't freaking know. I don't know. Something bizarre is. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know anything, but something's up. Intuitive Astrology and Horn of Africa. Look up the Horn of Africa. It's not that exciting. It's right by Yemen. There's a lot of reptilian energies there, bases, agendas, things like that. I also feel like, notice how South Africa had some riots recently. If you care. I also feel like South Africa, at least by feeling, a lot of the AIDS epidemic originated from there. I think they're saying the Congo, but let's put it this way: a lot of the ideas started in South Africa, and then Africa in general is a testing ground. So it is true. Like South Africa puts a lot of rules of where things are going. You say decisions are being made there, where is unknown, underwater, underground. I don't know, somewhere. Oh, at least on a scientific level. Seems to be the case. Of course, AIDS is very high there, South Africa. So, what does that have to do with anything? Well, whatever we're heading into, we had these massive floods recently. We're into some kind of bizarre, unexplained shift, and it's not going to make itself known anytime soon. We have they're going into space tomorrow with the richest man in the world is going into space. So you say that's the beginning of another shift. It's just not clear. But we're going to see where we get with that. Earth changes. I'm not sure. Nothing's clear. So that's helping out a lot. Jeez. Apocalypse Now is like I feel like I live that every day already. So some of us do at least. I feel like we're losing our freaking mind. There's like a hidden war here. Of course, there is a war here if you want to see it, but a lot of people don't want to see it, which I understand why. Just go to the beach and have a good time. Understood. And also intuitive art. God, I hope I spelled that right. I don't think I spelled that right. Astrology. I just put it right. Look at that. That's pretty impressive. Spell that right. That doesn't matter. Okay. So intuitive astrology. I think I mentioned this yesterday. Yeah, I kind of get a vibe about it today. That was going to be kind of the main topic, kind of. But talk about throwing everything out the window. But it's like tapping into someone's energy and just feeling a planet that you might not, like a planet that you feel like they're connected to, but you don't see it. You might get the energy of us in Sirius or Arcturus or wherever, and it's affecting people. And the name will come up to you possibly, or just a color or something. And then you might do another reading on another person like that, just an intuitive connection, just, basically just use your intuition. And you might run into the same planet again, possibly. So, yeah, invisible planets, basically. Well, they might be seen somewhere, but we can't, we're not allowed to see anything. We're not allowed to know anything. But it's another way of knowing about ourselves, because there's a lot of those things are, even astrology is kind of restrictive. It's hard for us to figure ourselves out, so we kind of break all the rules and go out. I mean, that's not for everybody, but for those that are into astrology, obviously your mainstream astrology is not going to be up for that. But I mean, isn't it the whole thing is about breaking all the traditions for us to heal? Because tradition just keeps us in this prison. You break out of that, of course. I mean, astrology is already an intuitive connection already. But you can go further with it if you got the guts for it. That's not going to be many people. it's just another way of looking at things. I mean, people that are already intuitive connected and doing astrology already, uh, you'd be surprised how much you can tap into and just go beyond the rules of what you're being told. So, who knows? I mean, it just this is all about breaking free of our mundane reality as the changes are on the way. So let's see. I'll try to tap into this end of the. I don't think it's the end of the world, but just I felt apocalypse now kind of fit perfect for that. I don't know what the hell I'm tapping into. So we'll see. I don't know. It just feels something's just not. These are just jagged. Real quick, as I'm told, I come here private sessions somewhere in time. I shop here. I'm on the I don't know 8th, I think 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that. I'm not too bad on the 10-day delivery. Sort of. Same situation here. Webinar. What is this social network? Grab it behind the scenes. Dating site. Oops. And this is not too deep, but it's something. Horn of Africa. I guess that's in the Horn of. There is his name. I'm not going to pronounce that. There it is on the map. Anyway, when I looked at the Horn of Africa, I found. Yeah. And they're planning on putting this there. This is just a model, a mock-up. That's not going to happen, probably. Oh, there it is again. I thought it was there. Apparently not. So the Horn of Africa, Sudan, Ethiopia, all those like travel places you want to go. It's pretty much like a war zone there. Somalia. It's like, jeez. That's not what I don't think many people call a vacation place, but you know, you never know. Some people have some strange fetishes out there. But it's by Yemen, and geez, I need to look a little bit more deeper into that. But yeah, it feels like that's like I mean, even the Horn of Africa is like a reptilian headquarters. Just by, I mean, I never heard of the Horn of Africa. As I was doing a search, I ran into it. So it's like, and that doesn't mean that that's where a lot of our world is being ran from, but there's definitely a lot of influence there. Obviously blocked, but Yemen is looks like there's a lot of time traveling that's going on in Yemen. And here's the city that looks like a wasteland. Kind of looks like New York City. Yeah, it's funny how they have these people that like New York City, they have like the skyscrapers. They can see this a dystopian reality right in front of you. So, yeah, you can get a nice view of your dystopian reality for $40 million a year or whatever it costs to get some of these skyscrapers. So that's nice to know. So I guess it's on how you look at it. So let's see, apocalypse energies, timeline. Yeah, August I kept feeling, but yeah, things might be sped up before August. Some military energies. Obviously, there's a lot of military ops going on right now. They don't know. I don't know, like secret. Of course, there's always something secret going on. It has something to do with space, also. So doesn't mean that we're going. I don't know. They are working on space timelines. Of course, that's been going on for some time. So I would just say expect a lot of changes in the next. Of course, in the next couple of years with this whole space agenda. Of course, I mean it's pretty obvious. Walmart in space. Something to look forward to. Jeez. God help us all. Jeez. That's yeah. I imagine a lot of people are gonna leave this planet before they see that. See, yeah, there's a lot of time traveling energies going on right now. So yeah, a lot of shifting, a lot of unusualness. It's not making itself completely clear, but we are going into a time of the unknown. Well, of course, we've kind of been there already, but it feels like they're building up a timeline where it's going to shift us into a whole different, not exactly a full reality altogether, but change things around so we can. The next agenda, it's not going to make itself too clear just yet, but it's in the works. It seems like I feel the United Nations is connected to it also, like a future version of it. when they they make up all these kind of artificial problems, just like what they're doing now. It's just everything's okay as long as you turn off the media. It's just everything is fine. But yeah, just for going in some kind of like a time warp. It doesn't mean anything's going to happen. I don't know. There's nothing clear. It just people say get ready, get ready, get ready, and nothing ever happens. And that might be here too. I mean, it's really hard. Whatever it is, it's going to be very subtle. It's going to be subtle, and it's not going to be exactly clear what's going on. I don't think it's going to be connected to the whole space launch yesterday or tomorrow. Yesterday, yeah, it happened yesterday. The whole thing with the Blue Origin. This might have some tie to it to a certain degree. It was for future timelines because they are trying to make other revenues and other they need to move us into they take our thoughts, they tell us what to think, so they're going to talk more about space over time eventually, but not quite yet, but they are preparing for it for sure. Let's see here. Is this a lot of soul healing, of course, that we're going through? Just future timelines of we're also making sure we're not crashing into anything or having any type of cataclysm or anything like that. It just settled timelines that are moving in there. I don't think it's related to this to the Lions Gate. This is something a lot different. This is basically the agendas that are setting us up for. So I believe these timelines have already been built. They just haven't been fully activated of where they're taking us through the duration of this year. And I think it's going to become more well known probably in August or before that. Yeah, I just feel them working behind the scenes somewhere. There is a military presence with it though. I know this is all very cryptic. It's not really getting anywhere with anything, but it just feels like nothing is fitting into place recently. It just feels like everything's up in the air. Not everything, but a lot of things are up in the air. It's like, we're not really seeing a lot of movement, event wise, life wise. Things are just kind of behind the scenes being worked on different levels. So, but not to worry about the future. I mean, it's hard to worry about something you don't know what's going to. What are you going to do about it anyway? So, yeah, there's no. I looked at the psychic twins predictions. Of course, I guess they're pretty much the doomsdayers. I guess I take credit for stuff that I don't know. I didn't say anything about the end of the world or anything for coming from them. I took a look at it. I'm not proud of it, but I want to see if they saw anything or felt anything. I would check their Twitter account. I can show it here, but I don't want to get that any energy. It feels like they're part of the psyop of our reality, actually. So anyway, for the Horn of Africa, yeah, there's a lot of now that's easier to tap into. Well, yeah, let's see here. So recently I've been going into more of the 12th dimension and then looking at our reality. So I've looked at the 12th dimension, looking at our reality. There are government timelines that are moving things around that are reptilian connected, Anunnaki connected, that they're trying to put out a narrative of course controlling society. For those that are weak, they're already part of the narrative. They're already being drawn into, they tell you something. I'm not going to go into details, but, they tell you something, people just do it. So they're leading the sheep. So more sheep herding is up. That is on its way. Let's put it that way. More propaganda. They're already kind of doing that already, but I feel like they're going to up their game a little bit more. Now they might do like false health issues and things like that, and that might be what they're doing here, possibly. But it's not making itself clear. Of course, they've already did that. Now that might be what it is. They're just going to do a, invisible, health crisis and have fun with that. I'm choosing my words carefully here. That might be what's going on right now. because we're going into fall, so that might be what I'm picking up on. It's not clear though, for obvious reasons, but it probably is more of that. So yeah, they're just gonna hype a lot of that, but I imagine there's more to it than that. From the 12th dimension, let's see. Of course, a lot of mind control. So those are already under mind control already. You know, they have it all figured out. Jeez. They're going to. I mean, it's almost like it's like a artificial intelligence mind control there. That's at such a level that people are just not. Well, they feel like they're doing the right thing and all that, which for them that's right, I guess. But it's kind of like a mental trap at the same time. Versus Archon energies. Well, the thing about Archons, they want to make people feel like they're smart. You're smart. Oh yeah, you're really this, you're that. You got. You see the person that's on the news wearing all their tuxedos or whatever, looking all professional, and part of the Archon manipulation. And of course, those guys just go with it. Well, they get a good paycheck, so I don't believe they even believe half the stuff they're talking about, but they get paid well, so who cares? I think a lot of them do. News presenters, not all of them, but a lot of them, they snap out of it and they know what they're putting out there is a bunch of BS, what they're doing anyway, because it's a nice lifestyle and they're kind of famous. So they just, I mean, imagine that internally they kind of deteriorate as a person, but on the exterior it looks all nice until they get old and then start, dishing the dirt on their wasted existence. That's something to be proud of. Let's see. So I'll go to the Horn of Africa. It's a little bit easier to tap into it, and maybe the apocalypse will start opening up a little bit more. So the Horn of Africa, yes, there's a lot of agendas that hit or miss. It's kind of like a laboratory of trying things out. Of course, there is a massive reptilian energy there. I mean, it's not exactly a tourist destination there. It's like a third world country. If you survive that place, you're doing pretty well. I can't imagine many people go there for vacation. Maybe parts of Ethiopia, apparently, they go to. I guess some of that's okay. I don't know if that's in the Horn of Africa. Let me check. Is Ethiopia... Oh, it is right in the middle of it. Shit. That's something to be proud of. Yeah, so Ethiopia is right in the middle of the Horn of Africa, so there is tourism there. So that's good. It's always good to have tourism to keep the economy going. And if you survive your trip, that's even saying a lot. If you don't get the AIDS virus or whatever, that's doing even better. So let's see. With Africa in that area, region, well, South Africa, we'll jump into South Africa. So there's a lot of top scientists that are there that are, it feels like some are very in tune to timeline creation, timeline. Like some are so powerful, they just pick up the phone and do something, and we all live it. That South Africa is one of the places. There's even Mexico and New Mexico, interesting because of the military presence there. So they have, so obviously there's different places of the world. I'm not going to name them all, obviously, because I don't know what they all are. But there's different places in the world, like Washington, even Los Angeles. They move our timeline. New York, they say just one or two words, and all of a sudden we're going in that direction normally. So yeah, San Francisco, sort of. London plays a big role in that. South Africa does, but they don't make themselves known about it. So a lot of the ideas of it are, I feel, in South Africa somewhere. Not all of it, but some of our planning of how they're going to run our planet. Yeah, there is places there where, well, it's out by the water. It's in the nice place there where everybody's getting eaten alive and shot at. They go to the nice area where, they just shoot you if you see a rich person. But it just has to do with the energies there where the wealthy are protected there for some bizarre reason. The vortex is there. I'm not fully protected, but overall. Well, I guess they have to dip their energies into darkness because they are pretty much living darkness. So something like that. This is all going to start opening up eventually. I feel like a lot of this so-called secretness that's going on here, especially United Nations, will start to open up, but not, of course, yet. I mean, they are kind of exposing themselves right now, but not at a level where we can heal. I do feel the World Health Organization involved with this, whatever we're going into next. Like I said, it feels like wherever we're heading into is very subtle. Yeah, it's like it's subtle, and then you kind of know that we're things aren't normal anymore. Not that they're normal now, but it's like we just had a shift. So this might I don't know what it's gonna happen this week, next week, or just August or what. But it feels like whatever it is, it's already in the works right now. So there's like I said, a military presence there. Um, yeah, Army General. I don't know if it's more. It's like more of a secret, more of a black ops type of energy there. You don't wonder why. Of course, the black ops are used to take out people, obviously, and then blame somebody else for it. Of course, yeah, the government, of course, is involved with getting CEOs and all that propped up and things like that behind the scenes. Of course, they make it look organic, but obviously it's not. Right. They play a role in it in some form or another. They play a role. Not everywhere, but in some cases they do. Yeah, of course, these large companies, they stay in power for a reason. Obviously, they're sold themselves out to some, especially Walmart. Walmart's completely sold itself out because of genetic engineering for their food. And also, their products aren't exactly the healthiest either because the chemicals that are with some of them, especially for kids' products, are not exactly because they're cheap, but they're not some of the chemical. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's like some of the toy energies that kids play with is not exactly healthy. But I mean, it's not death, but it's not great either. Because Walmart plays a big role in manipulation in society, of course. Archon Energies that just pretty much has zero soul to it left. Of course, those are running it. Feel like those are running it very robotic. They have a soul, but not they do, but they're so soul. It's just yeah, it's bad. I mean, this is why a lot of companies aren't so large like Walmart because they don't want to sell themselves out too much. Of course, there's plenty of others that would happen to do so, sort of. But then they get tired of selling themselves out, and their companies implode. So yeah, you wonder why some companies like they're real popular, and all of a sudden they're not popular anymore because they don't want to sell themselves out anymore. That's at least the vibe I'm getting from at least some places like that, or they just get taken out because they don't want them anymore. Part of the agenda, but a lot of it's just they're just sold out and just had enough of it. Uh, so, so where we are heading for future timeline. Just I would say just mentally prepare yourself for anything out of the usual, out of the ordinary. Anything can happen right now. It doesn't mean it's gonna be aliens. I'm not feeling that. Yeah, who knows? That'd be sure. I doubt it. they're not. They're not that sophisticated for something like that. There are timelines where that is happening, but yeah, they're just not. It feels like if they do a fake alien invasion, they'll get so much negative karma, they'll kind of destroy themselves at the same time. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from that. If the government really goes through with that, I mean, the one thing they take people and put them against each other and kill each other, like Vietnam, that's one thing. But actually having a whole fake invasion is a little bit. If you have another country doing that, it's different. But if you have a whole fake, you kind of have to artificially create the invasion. But I seriously doubt it's but they certainly have thought about it, though. I think they have plans on it. I imagine they have uh, like VR, virtual, but I don't think it's going to happen. But virtual reality built on it. I mean, I believe they've been planning it for since the 1980s. I think some people said the 90s, but it feels like the 1980s. At least thinking about it and bringing in some kind of agenda that'd be. I think when Ronald Reagan says about attack from an outside source, they were thinking about that at the time. They didn't have the technology for it, and I don't think they have the technology for it now either. Not on a fake version of it, not really, but they don't have control over everything. So, but it's like if they do that, they're just destroying themselves. Well, not fully, but Be nice if they. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see the around Yemen, the Gulf of Aden. There's a lot of portals there, of course. A lot of drug trafficking, a lot of human trafficking, but I think it's more drug trafficking than anything else. I'm not sure if that's helpful to anybody. I don't think many people are. If you have a vacation in the Horn of Africa, as long as you don't get AIDS, maybe you can find yourself some cheap drugs, possibly, or not get kidnapped. One of the two, whatever works for you. It's not exactly a tour. I mean, there are timelines where Africa was supposed to be like the lead of the planet. Obviously, that didn't work out, but it was supposed to be like the. I believe it was discussed at one time to make that the powerhouse, but it obviously didn't work out the way they thought. Well, I imagine they just scrapped the whole idea. But there was timelines where that was supposed to happen eventually. Let's see here. Anything from the Anunnaki or somebody? Anybody? Any aliens? Anything? Anybody want to say anything? Reptilian energies say not to worry about the future, but people have to just start worrying, not worry, but working on themselves of healing that fear, which you're having a lot of difficulties with. Because fear is just a chemical imbalance, you can say, that's been designed by society. Um, yeah, it's been done in the third dimension. Well, a lot of aliens see the third dimension as a wasteland. If you look at New York City, you can see why. At least parts of it. Yeah, you see that New York City has such a consciousness of just it doesn't look too pretty there. I mean, even Dubai, parts of it are looking higher frequency. Obviously, it's still a third world country. How they treat people. I mean, most of the world is a third world country. Was it Singapore is probably your first world country, probably out of and some of Japan, but Singapore is probably one of the higher. I mean, that's what a higher vibrate. Of course, it's not perfect there, far from it. That's more of like I guess you can say that's what we're kind of striving for. Also, is like I feel like Tel Aviv in Israel is kind of higher frequency. Not that many people go to Tel Aviv very often, but Tel Aviv isn't so bad energy wise. Once again, it's not perfect. There are a lot of elite energies there, but overall, it feels like a peaceful vibration there. Where am I going with all this? Is just we got a long ways to go if we're going to go into the higher frequencies. Let's put it that way. It feels like also some government energies are wiping themselves out. Not yet, but some of them have the expiration date. Uh, One of them might be South Africa, possibly. Not that the world cares, but um, governments definitely do have expiration dates. Of course, Britain has sort of had one in the past. They, of course, are still around, but they're not. Well, they're still they're still pop. It's still running the show, no matter what anybody says. See, the Queen's energy. Queen's going to live for a very long time. I think she's near 100. She's going to at least live past 100 according to this timeline for right now. One thing that we're heading into is water. Water is going to be kind of a problem more on the shorelines of some places. That's all they're showing there. But it says show me a glimpse of it, but not in places that you would expect either. But once again, there's nothing to really worry about. Not much you can do about it overall. So future timelines is basically it feels like it's more a health scare that they're pushing right now because we're going into the fall and then winter. So for right now, it feels like a health scare. So they're gonna hit it as hard as they can, and then probably come in with a whole nother agenda eventually. Yeah, they're gonna have to let this go. They're gonna have to just find something else to dance with. This is getting, you know. But they're trying to get all the sheeple people they can get their hands on right now. So, and it's working, and it's going to continue to work. And if people die from all this, they're not going to say anything about it. That has a while for that to happen. I'm trying to be careful with my words too. I'm not sure if that's working. Um, but yeah, so South Africa energies. Um, it feels like they are working on the agenda of where things are going. It feels like a lot of them have been implemented, but not fully yet. And there's a lot of United Nations energy there. Of course, they're not going to bring that to light. Of course, a lot of banks, Switzerland Bank, one of the lead ones, is connected to this. Obviously, they run it. They run scenarios, and then how they can make money from it. When they manipulate the markets, feels like 10 years down the line. That's some patience. But yeah, they look at the markets 10 years from now. So they invest now, and then 10 years from now they make whatever money. Of course, they can make fast money too, but they're already rich. So it really makes sense when it's going to take a long time for things to happen. Any alien energies, obviously, just for Palladian energies here. Yeah, just mind your own energies, your own. I get from them your own business, your own center, your own world. Focus on that, not so much the rest of the world. But because you more you focus on your own vibration, you see the future world a little bit more clear. Maybe not exactly, but you're not going to see everything. But sometimes you get a little bit of a glimpse, but you might not always believe it. Sometimes many people actually see the future, but then they shut it off. They see it just a second of it. It's like a film strip, just like a glimpse. So, but yeah, as you focus more on your own vibrations, yes, they show more people are having children right now. Because got nothing else to do. Um, that are being more indigo kids are coming into the energy field. There's some crystal children. I feel like the indigo is more of a stronger energy at this time. Meaning more multi-dimensional thinking. That doesn't mean the crystal children aren't like that, but I feel like the crystal children are more for healing energies. The indigo are just more multi-dimensional thinking, multi-dimensional. They can do healings too, but they're just a little bit more to not go by the norm. They're more of a rebellious energy. So that's all we got. Intuitive astrology already mentioned that earlier, so we'll just leave it at that. So. All right, it's blessings, everyone. Hopefully, I don't know, just use your own intuition, connect with what you feel, and like I said, I feel like it's the health stuff they're going to be pushing, but I think there's more to it than that. But they're not making it. They're not making it clear. Probably best to don't. So, all right.